a big dad.
You got it all wrong. Those people don't want those houses so they can have a place to live. They want to live where they don't have laws.
We don't want no more niggas in the city.
Don't have laws.
We don't want no more niggas in the city.
Don't have laws.
We don't want no more niggas in the city.
No. No, look, for racial equality, I love everybody. No, Brandy is black. No, so the thing is, it's not that people want to live in those houses. They want to live in those conditions so they can deal drugs and beat the system. They don't want to live in the houses that are new that are being built because they have to abide by laws. They have to keep them clean. They gotta have power. They gotta have water. There can only be a certain amount of people in each unit. They want to live in those old rundown projects because that's the lifestyle they're accustomed to and the only thing they've ever known. And all they want to keep it like that.
And where do you live?
I live here.
In New Orleans?
Yes, right.
What part of town?
I live downtown. We go to work every day. That's how we have nice houses. We go to work every day.
Down the street.
It's bad when you get
And where do you
people.
work?
It's bad when you get people.
Where do you work?
No, look, there's another point. It's bad when you have people that will come to us. I got one more point for you.
Wait, we got one person.
It's really bad. It's really bad when you hear people on the news saying, my grandmother lived here, my grandmother's grandmother lived here, my mother lived here. It's supposed to be transitional housing. You're supposed to live there till you get on your feet, get a job.
He got to move up.
You're not supposed to live there for generations. They do have pimp there.
He got a FEMA check.
Well,
I'm FEMA representative. I gave this man a FEMA check.
don't you think there should have been more discussion?
No.
People shouldn't have been shut out of a city council meeting. That was a violation of public meeting laws. I don't think that's very fair.
You don't own the property. How do you have a say?
They never worked a day in their lives, and all them son of a bitches could go live under the bridge. Them son of a bitches could all go to
You live here?
Yes.
No, you don't.
I live on Spruce Street.
Hey, you pay taxes?
Do you think they should be able to go back in there? Don't you think they do?
I'll bet I pay more
Hey,
taxes
check
in my
this out.
lifetime than you
Get
ever
a
did.
job. Get a goddamn job.
And what do you do for work?
I do air conditioning work. Hey,
You do air conditioning
get the
work?
classified. Classified's
And
got.
where do you live?
It doesn't matter. I pay for
No,
it.
where do you live?
Get a
I got a
job.
solution for the projects dynamite. Projects dynamite. Projects dynamite.
Hey, if they
Well, you know, y'all are next.
hey, if they got a
Y'all
job,
are next.
if they got a job, they just pay for their own shit.
What's the economic
Hey,
collapse
everybody
really
is
have?
working
Your
there.
ass is your neck.
Yeah, my house, my ass.
I had 24.
Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And you know, it's time for me to really get back on my Pinhead Blackston shit, you know. Well, you know, I mean, you read the title, you saw that clip I showed you at the beginning of this video, so you already know what it's going to be about. Now, even though this clip I played is old, I always wanted to do a commentary on it. I always wanted to do a rebuttal on it and so forth. But I'm not just going to talk about these these slobs here. I'm going to talk about racism, white people's racism in general, and so forth, and how we'll never, you know what I'm saying, the whole concept of a post-racial America is a big joke. Well, let's go into what these guys were about. These were LSU fans, and they was going to a ball game, and some female reporter asked them, you know what I'm saying, she didn't even mention race. She's talking about what do you feel about them getting rid of affordable housing, and you know what I'm saying, and bells went off, and you know, and it seems like black people were synonymous with, you know what I'm saying, subsidized housing or whatever. And you know what I'm saying, it was about race. You know, I'm pretty sure in Louisiana, I don't know if that, I'm pretty sure that was, there's poor white people. There's probably more poor white people, you know what I'm saying, getting a handout from the government than blacks, but you know how the game goes. You know, and one guy, he said it, he said, we don't want no more niggers in the city. You know, as if you're going to get rid of, you know, government housing, you're going to get rid of all the blacks. And then, you know, they were saying all kind of, and the killer part, they were going to a ball game. And it's pretty, and you have to understand, there's going to be some black players. They're going to be rooting for, you know, black people, you know, running up and down that field. You know, so that tells you the different levels of racism white people are on. That they'll say they can be racist as I'll get out, but they'll still enjoy seeing a black person, you know what I'm saying, hike, you know, playing sports. So that doesn't, you know, when black people exceed in sports and entertainment, but that's not enough to garner their respect, you know. And the thing is with the buck dancers and and you know what I'm saying, the Bojangles, they still feel that if black people, we correct our ways and so forth, white people will like us, you know what I'm saying. No, white people have a long history of just not liking people who are different. Not saying that, you know what I'm saying, oh, that other cultures aren't racist or whatever, but with whites, yeah. Albert Einstein and I think another guy stated that that racism is a disease that visually affects white people more so than other cultures. I may be paraphrasing there, but you know, Einstein, you know what I'm saying, made that statement. And then one guy says that they live in a world without laws. I'm like, okay, you know, there's laws. They go to jail. That's, you know, I mean, if there were no laws inside the projects or whatever, then people won't be going to jail. You can say that there's no order there or somewhat, but you know, there's cops all over. You know, I mean, you got a prison system filled with blacks. So how can you say that people don't live by any laws? If that was true, not only will they won't be going to jail, but you're going to be having all kind of people coming down to the projects to do stuff because, you know, there ain't no rules. They be going down there definitely to. And not that they don't do it already, but they'll really be going down there to get drugs and get prostitutes and so forth. So how can they sit up there and say that there's, you know, not any laws? And then they talk about, you know what I'm saying, that it's supposed to be transitional housing. Like you go there and, you know, they get up on your feet and all this other stuff, and then you move out, and they say, my grandmother's there, my great-grandmother's there. That's true to a certain extent, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta keep it moving on there if you're down on your luck. But hence, human beings are creatures of habit, you know what I mean? If you grow up in a certain environment, you're most likely going to stay inside that environment. Just like a white person who grew up on a farm with a pickup truck, he's going to stay in that environment and so forth. And blacks, we don't have the type of, you know what I'm saying, social status, you know what I'm saying, in a society, you know, and wealth. I'm like, you take New Orleans was built, it's a city built by slaves. Slaves didn't just pick cotton there, but they helped, you know what I'm saying, build the infrastructure, you know what I'm saying, the structure of that city or whatever. And what you're seeing with blacks, you know, the effects, you know, of slavery and Jim Crow or whatever. I'm like, this is the South. I'm like, look at how these dudes are talking. I'm like, their fucking English was horrible. If you see the way they're talking, I'm like, it's, you know, it was atrocious. But whatever. And then at the end, you know what I mean, of their racist rant or whatever, you know what I'm saying, they're talking, dude said the dynamite, you know what I mean, he's talking about killing people. Now I understand that there's plenty of white people, you know what I'm saying, living in low-income environments, but it's synonymous with black. You can tell they're talking about, but they're talking about get a job, work, you know what I mean, these guys haven't worked a day in their lives. That's not true, you know what I mean. Here in America, there's no guarantee that if you're going to work every day that you're going to live comfortable. There's plenty of dudes walking around with their their beat-up pickup trucks that haul garbage in and haul garbage out or whatever, do that hauling, whatever, work from can't see in the morning to can't see at night and barely making ends meet. So working doesn't guarantee, you know what I'm saying, you're going to live a good life. No, it doesn't. Especially in this country. But you know what I'm saying, watching stuff, now when I first saw it, you know, it kind of gets me mad because I'm looking at like these fucking red-faced European invaders, you know, I'm like, look at them, you know what I mean, the sun is tearing their skins up. But I kind of think like that, I kind of moved past it because now we're here, you know, I'm like, their ancestors came out for rat-infested boats, and the thing is, there wasn't rats aren't indigenous to this continent. You know what I mean? I'm like, they came over here when the Europeans came over. You know, and then you're dealing with the racist South. But it goes to show you, you know what I mean? This is the post-racial America you're living in. I'm like, these are the I'm saying the ignoramuses we have to deal with. I'm like, these dudes, you know what I mean? They have hatred in their soul or whatever. Then they say that we work every day. How can you work every day? You're going to a damn ball game. You know what I'm saying? That contradicts you working every day and so forth. But you know what I'm saying? It shows, you know what I mean? That, you know, and the fact that they're at a ball game watching black people run up and down that field with that pigskin in their arms. But I'm going to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And the killer part, these guys weren't ashamed. I'm like, they're on camera. One guy's showing his face. Some of these guys are wearing shades, but they don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? To them it's funny, you know, everything is comical. If they were real concerned about black people in their city or whatever, poor people, you know what I mean, they wouldn't be laughing and joking about it. They're laughing because they know they put black people in that situation, and now they're cackling, you know, and so forth. But when I look at white people's racist outbursts on the mainstream level, you know what I mean? Black people, you can't compare. Everybody says, oh, black people are racist too. I'm like, man, you can't. Comparing black people's racism to white people's racism is like comparing a mom and pop store to Walmart. You know? And speaking about Walmart, I remember when somebody got on the intercom and like saying, all black people leave the store or some shit like that. I'm like, white people, the stuff they do, it goes above and beyond, and it's outlandish, but we still have to just, I don't know, grin and bear them. Oh, that's white people, we're moving ahead and so forth. It's almost like you have to accept white people's racism, like, yeah, they're racist and so forth, but you know, what you gonna do? You look at Michael Richards, what I'm saying, some Mel Gibson. There's a Donald Sterling, the owner of the Cincinnati Reds back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? That doctor that came on TV. What was that doctor, that radio doctor, and a black female was trying to talk to her, and she was like, you know, she was mentioned BET and you know what I'm saying, some comedy show or some shit like that. They're insensitive or whatever. You know, I'm like, this is how they built their society. You know what I mean? I'm like, they don't, white people don't, Dog the Bounty Hunter, they receive very little penalty for their racial outbursts. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, their racism got them on top. And then you're going to tell them not to be racist. I'm like, it's almost ingrained in their DNA going back to the caves of Europe. This is going to the concept of fire and ice, man. Read books or whatever. The Iceman Inheritance. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, you're trying to change people that don't want to change, that, and a lot that hasn't seen much penalties for their action, and that their racial attitudes have put them on top, has put them on top of the food chain. So why the hell should they change or whatever? You know? And you know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a lot of Bojangles that are going to listen to these guys and be like, well, what they say is true. You know what I mean? What they perfectly said. There is some truth to what they're saying, but they're only giving you like half truths. They're not going to uncover the whole story. They're not going to pull back all the layers. You know what I mean? I'm like, these are the clans. These are descendants of the Ku Klux Klan. Even though they say that the Ku Klux Klan died out, it died out. You know what I mean? These people still got pictures in their photo albums of, that's my great granddaddy, he was a great grand wizard, and so forth. And you don't see black people with this sort of racial outburst, especially black people in the media. You know what I mean? Black actors, black rappers, black, you know what I'm saying, and so forth. You don't see them match up. You know, but each time we still have to grin and bear it. And I'm tired of it. We gotta, I gotta call it out. You know what I mean? I gotta put them in them crosshairs. You know. But that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching it. Sally Forth.
You are listening to Family Files, Volume 2.